it's Lucy. We're back with another episode of The Juice, and today I have my baby mama on here. She's not my baby mama, but that's the name that she's gotten over time with me. I don't even know how it started.
I don't either.
But we met through bartending,
Yes.
and that's what this whole episode is going to be about, just the bullshit that comes along with it.
Yes, absolutely.
So I guess we'll start. How did you get into bartending?
About 10 years ago, I came out of a really bad divorce, and I needed quick cash, and my mom was a bartender, my aunt's been a bartender, my cousin's been a bartender. It's been in the family. So I started bartending and never got out of it.
It's one of those things that, like, when you get into
Sucks your
bartending,
soul. Yep.
it locks you in. It's not that it's easy money, and we're definitely going to touch on that, but it's like the amount of money that you can make in a short period of time, even in just 1 or 2 days.
Yes.
And then you're good for the week, and you have the freedom to do whatever you want.
Yes, because when you go work somewhere else, I've had big girl jobs, as they call them, because, you know, people say bartending is not a real job. Even though we make real money,
you make real money,
real bills,
yeah.
They say it's not a big job. So I've had big girl jobs, but when I make in 2 weeks there what I can make in 3 nights bartending, why?
There's just a bad stigma around it because, I mean, you start out bartending usually like whenever you're in college, because that's going to help you get through and pay for all, you know, even can pay for your college. But I also know a handful of people that have started with bartending and somehow they end up as realtors.
Yes,
have you noticed that?
I have.
There's something where it's like you start as a bartender and then like the next path in life is going to be being a realtor.
Yeah, I think it's the personal connection that maybe, you know, some bartenders make with people, and they can bring that into realty because, you know, they're selling houses, so they talk to them all the time, just like in bartending.
Yeah.
We're always talking to people. I mean, we have customers that become family, you know, become great friends. And
for sure. So
I think
it's two totally different, like two opposite ends of the spectrum. Yes. I started out in finance, and that's what I was doing whenever I met Tommy. And his mom owns Warsaw, which obviously that's where we met. But being in finance, like, you're talking to people all day. You have to have a great personality, be able to carry conversation. And that kind of like helped me with bartending a little. Yeah. Someone the other day even told me, "You're very well spoken. You haven't always been a bartender, have you?" I'm like, "No, I was a financial person."
Yes.
But so how I got into it is actually kind of a funny story. It was Mother's Day, and I don't know if you were working at the bar at that. No, you weren't.
No,
you definitely weren't.
We were already married when I started there.
Okay.
Because I talked to you when I got hired.
Gotcha. Okay, so he was actually playing a show where he was on the back deck of the bar, because obviously it's a river bar for those of you that don't know. But he was playing a show on the back deck, and people had all of their boats pulled up, just basically like blocking the river to watch. And we had Terry Perrin driving around on a jet ski collecting tips. So like that was pretty cool, but we were really shorthanded. And so I had never been behind a bar a day in my life. And they were like, "Hey, we need you back there." I'm like, "Oh, shit. I don't know what to do." So I remember my first drink I ever made was a margarita. And now that is what I'm known for, is my amazing margaritas. So that's just kind of how it started, where I had no choice but to just be thrown into the fire.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's how I learned the best.
I was like that too. When I started working, my first bartending job was at Tees Country in Watson.
Okay.
My mom was working there at the time, and I started working with her. Well, I went on a Friday night. It was a band night. Never bartended a night in my life. And the lady that was supposed to work with my mom did not show up. So my mom pretty much told me to get back there, sink or swim, and 10 years later, I'm still in it.
You were swimming. Yeah, you're like running marathons. I mean, swimming marathons now.
Yeah, I love it.
All right, so we have some topics that we want to touch on. We're both in the bartender groups on Facebook, and oh my God, the stuff that you see on there is crazy.
Girl.
So we want to bring some of this to light.
Yes.
For the first one, I guess we can just start here. Men thinking that they can get into your pants just because you're the bartender.
Absolutely. And their women think that you're just going to give it up to them because you're a bartender, but it's not even about that.
No, I mean,
just
obviously,
because I talk to your husband or I make conversation with you and him doesn't mean I want him. I'm happily married. Yeah.
And people don't realize that. And also, like, Tommy and I bartend together.
Yes.
And this is what we do whenever we're not doing music. So he'll have women that flirt with him. And I mean, flirting to a certain point is okay, because you have to be friendly. You have to, you're working for your tips.
Yeah, you are.
So I will tell you, though, I'm not one of those girls that show up in like little skimpy outfits and bartend to try to make your money that way.
No.
It's not going to happen.
No, and I actually had a lady that came in where I work now one night, and she proceeded to tell me that to make money, you need to show something. No, ma'am. I wear T-shirts,
Why don't you show some personality?
Exactly,
show that there's a little bit more
need.
to it.
Yes. It's not about, I'm not a stripper.
Yeah.
I work behind the bar,
It's true.
I mean, I'm not taking my clothes off. It's just not going to happen. Or dressing skimpy.
Yeah. So, but like you also said, the women thinking that we want their men.
Yeah.
Because we're bartenders, and that goes right back to just being friendly.
Yes.
I'm gonna tell you, there's some funky ass men that will come into that bar, and they think that they can say anything that they want to you. Like,
Absolutely.
they cross so many lines.
Absolutely.
And then they get to drinking, and it's like, look, you're the first person that's going to throw someone out for being rude. You'll curse them out.
Yep.
I'm not so much that way. I think there's only been like 2 customers that have really had to like get the mean side of me.
Get you to that point.
Yeah, I'm not going to say his name, but you know exactly who I'm talking about. And I think he like pushes everyone's buttons.
Yes.
But yeah, it's definitely a real job. I don't think people also understand like what goes into. And this I can compare to music also. When they see you there on your shift and you're running around a busy shift, they see what's happening right then. And it can be chaotic. But I don't think they understand what goes into like prepping for the shift.
Exactly.
And also the end of the night. Like, y'all are out of here at, 2 a.m. most of the time?
When we make y'all leave,
Yeah.
most of the time, because y'all don't want to leave.
We might not actually leave the bar until sometimes 5 o'clock, 5:30 in the morning, because we're cleaning up all the messes or picking up chairs from the
stocking
fights.
beer and doing money and everything.
And I can kind of compare that to music, like
trash.
I said, too, because whenever you're seeing the show, and obviously I'm going to compare everything in music.
Absolutely.
But when you're seeing the show, you're seeing my husband on stage, he's bouncing around, he's, playing his music, but that's the easy part. It's the hours of setup and the hours of tear down and the rehearsals and the prep and the training and
the traveling.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's all of the stuff that people really don't get to see.
Yep.
What's another thing that I think bothers me the most? Oh God, especially because my mother-in-law owns the bar. When people feel like they're entitled to like special privileges because they know the owner.
Well, yeah, you know what I tell them? I know the owner too. Who do you think signs my paycheck?
Right.
Like, I know her too. So what? You want me to go get her? I mean, I don't know. I don't know why people feel like that. I don't know if they think that I've had them before. They get mad at me or they say something vulgar or I say something back and then they go tell on me. And it's like,
most of the time, the owner of our bar is going to have our back, and
exactly.
you don't want to tell her.
99% of the time, that's what happens.
Do you have a bartending story that just like sticks out in your mind as like the absolute most chaotic bullshit situation?
Well, when I started, I'm not going to say the name of the place, but it's not open anymore. I worked there for about 2 years, and I managed there. I had a lady that came in one night with her son. And he was going around asking my female customers if they wanted a drink. Well, of course, they told him no because he was drunk and, staggering around, and he was very rude. Well, he kept calling him a bitch. So the lady who was his mom went to the restroom, and while she was in the restroom, I didn't realize she was, but I told him that he needed to leave because he wasn't going to treat my customers like that. Well, when she comes out the bathroom, she asked me what happened. So I tell her, and she told me I needed to get the fuck out of her face. And I said, no, ma'am, I'm not in your face. Well, she tried to hit me across the bar. And I picked up an ashtray.
I can only imagine.
I swung it. So,
you hit her with an ashtray?
Yes, I did. And
honestly, it doesn't surprise me.
No, I called my boss and I told him. And he said, well, when I get back to the bar, I'm going to run the camera and look. So he did. And he called me and he was dying laughing. And he was like, I'm so glad you did that. So, and then another one, I had a lady that they had got there before my shift started at Warsaw. I came in at 9. Well, they wanted to pay cash when they closed the tab. Now, this is after 2 a.m. in the morning. Well, I closed it with their card because I didn't know they wanted to pay cash.
I really do that all the time.
They were there before I got there for my shift. So at the end of the night when I closed them out, the guy got really rude, and the lady told me, because I told him, I said, look, we don't know who wants to close out after 2 o'clock with cash. You have to remind us. Like, we've had a very busy night. We've had a lot of people, and the lady proceeded to tell me to shut the fuck up.
They're just rude. They feel like they can talk to you like you're a dog.
Like anyway, because you're behind the bar. And I'm not mean to anybody if I don't have to be. I try to be nice to everybody, but you get them some people that you just can't please no matter what you do.
So I think my most memorable bartending story, I don't know if you were working there at that point either. It was during Tickfall 200, the bathroom situation.
Oh my God, yes,
no, that's literally my favorite one.
Yes.
Okay, so there's this long line in the bathroom, and I was like, there's no reason for this, obviously. So there's a big long line, and I go in there, and people are like whispering and laughing, and they're pointing to the small stall. And I'm like, what's going on? So I look under there, and I see 2 sets of feet. And I'm like, that's not supposed to be happening in there. So I knock on it, and it was like dead silent. And I knock a little bit more, and like the girl pops her head out, and then I see the guy, and I'm like, are y'all doing it in our bathroom right now? And they were so drunk. And the funniest part about it is that they had a boat, like a houseboat, that was pulled up, and they could have went over there and done that. But meanwhile, they're holding the bathroom up. So she tried to get like mean with me, and that was one of the only times that I've been aggressive with someone. I snatched her up by her arm, and I start pushing her out. Well, we finally get them outside, and she's screaming, and she's like, I want to talk to the owner. And I'm like, perfect. Come on over here. So then she starts cursing the owner out, which is my mother-in-law, and that's when I had it. So I really thought that was going to be like the first fight that I was going to ever be in my adult life. But don't do it in the bathroom.
No, just I don't understand why people do that. It's a public restroom, and you got people, when you go in a bar, you're drinking, you're having fun, they're pissing on the seat, they don't care,
I mean, we've all had our fair share of stories and stuff.
Don't do it in the bathroom. Not in the bar. You know, it's just not with that many people for sure.
So we've talked about the knowing the owners and the rude customers. One thing that also relates to music is the late nights and early mornings.
Yes.
There's been so many times that like we have stayed up all night with the bartending and not even been able to go to sleep at that night because you have something early the next morning. So it's just, there's so much I think that goes into being a good bartender.
Okay, so another thing that we have to pay attention to in the bartending business that people don't realize, and they tend to get kind of mad when we do this, but it's if somebody's being overserved, we have to cut them off.
They do not like that at all, because especially when they're that level of drunk, they're like, they're belligerent. And that's something that we have to like really pay attention to, because I've taken people's keys before, and you can be mad at me all you want, but I will not have that on my conscience. Like, especially the guys riding bikes. Like
that's a big one. That is a big one.
But I mean, the next day they would come in, and they after being drunk and mad and cursing us out, they realized that you did the right thing, because actually I didn't even think I was going to bring this up, but my best friend Tyler Stafford, he actually died leaving a bar that was around our hometown. And some people say that he was overserved. Some people say that he wasn't. It was just a freak accident. But after that night, and I was actually bartending when that happened. Oh, wow. Yeah, so like we heard the sirens, and we didn't know what was going on, but it was later that night when we got off of our shift, we found that out. So from that moment moving forward, I said, I don't care who gets pissed off at me. I don't care if you've had 2 drinks and I feel like that you've had enough. Like, I'm not about to have you risk your life or someone else's.
Yeah, exactly. And see, I don't know, it's kind of a weird thing for me, because 2 of my best friends were killed by a drunk driver. Charlotte Ross and Angel Gill were killed in 2015 by a drunk driver. So I don't know. It's a kind of like a love-hate type thing,
Well, I know, especially like when Tommy and I go out and we drink, normally I'm the one that's drunk and he drives, because I can't even tell you the last time I actually drove a vehicle, but that's another story for another day. But we, like, if it's going to be a night where I know that he's drinking, I will at least offer to drive, but he's like, there's no way I'm letting this girl behind a wheel. But you should definitely, not saying like a DD be being boring, but have someone who's at least willing to stop drinking earlier than everyone else to get people home safely.
If you're going to drive, yes.
Yeah, I've actually had a situation back whenever I was going through my divorce, and my mom has always told me, if you've had too much to drink, I don't care what time it is or where you are,
call me and I'll come get you.
And she proved it to me that night. She pulls up, and we were, it was me and my friend Lindsay, and when she pulled up, I don't remember this, but she said that the car door was open, and we were just like hanging out onto the gravel, and they picked us up, they brought us home, and I mean, you got to have people like that in your life that are willing to help you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, over-serving, that's a big thing. I don't care who gets mad at you. Just tell them no. Let them. They'll thank you the next day.
Yeah, they absolutely will.
This one's kind of funny to bring up. the secrets that we have to keep.
Oh, girl.
Do you know how many boyfriends and girlfriends and wives and aunts and uncles? It's like a big mixture, especially where we live.
I know.
The secrets that we keep. Lord, I could do a whole... Nobody pissed me off.
Exactly.
Let me tell you right now, you don't piss a bartender off.
No, we know all the secrets. We know your wife and your girlfriend, and we know your husband and your boyfriend.
But what's crazy is when the wife and the girlfriend comes in together with the husband. Like, how do you explain that to me?
Girl, I don't
We've
know.
got some stories, yeah.
We do for sure.
So one of the stories that sticks out to me, it's not necessarily like a husband and wife or boyfriend, girlfriend, like swapping up kind of thing. But there was this one guy, and I remember it was a steak night. He actually, so he came in with a girl, ordered the steak. He eats a little bit of his steak, and then he leaves. Do you know who I'm talking about?
With another girl?
Then he comes back with another girl like 45 minutes later.
I was there that night.
And then I think it was like he ate a little bit more of his food there. And meanwhile, she's like, why aren't you hungry? And I guess so he was tired of that one. 45 minutes later, he comes in with another one. And I mean, I'm not complaining because that's 3 steaks you've purchased. No, 6 steaks that you've bought tonight.
Exactly.
So that's helping me out. But it's like, it's like what's that called? A rotating door, some of these people.
Yeah.
Or like they'll come in with one girl one night, and I'll get to know her. And I mean, I don't know. Sometimes I do drink a little bit behind the bar. And some girls look similar.
Yeah, they
so
do.
they came, oh my God, that's so embarrassing now that I think about it. He came in with this girl, different guy. And I'm talking to her through the night. He comes in the next night with someone that I thought was her. And I called her by the other girl's name. And she looks at him and she's like, who is that? And like, obviously it turned into a whole big thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, as your bartender, we do our best to keep up with like your personal life, but there's some you probably should like put name tags on them if you're going to swap them around a lot.
You absolutely should, because we try to remember, but we can't always remember.
No, and it's dark in there and everybody's drinking.
Yeah.
What do you expect from me?
I have a lady that comes in and she was talking about her husband, all the time, but I've never seen him. So when they came in the other night, I was kind of scared to ask her if that was her husband, because I didn't know and I didn't want it to be her boyfriend. So I didn't even ask her until she told me it was her husband. But you have to watch people like that.
Yeah.
Because people will. I mean, they're married, and I had a customer that used to meet his girlfriend every day at a bar I worked at. They drank a bucket of beer together. And he had a wife and kids at home,
How ballsy is that,
I
though?
know.
Like,
It's
for
very-
one, other people can see you. Most bars have cameras. So if she's
Yes.
ever questioning it and needs to, like, subpoena the bar for something, I mean, I don't know
Exactly.
if we could show security footage or not. But,
know.
and then also trusting your bartender that much to
know.
not say
I know.
something.
It's-
What if I was having a bad day or, like, my husband cheated on me or something and I just wanted to get back at somebody?
Yeah.
I'd tell all your business.
Right?
The juice would come out
You
for
ain't
sure.
lying. Yes.
But I mean, we have obviously the funny things that happen and like the little sketchy things that, we probably shouldn't share.
Yeah.
But I think another thing that people don't realize that that a bar will do, especially ours, is hosting benefits for people, like whether it's an illness or if someone passes away and they need, help with funeral expenses.
Yes.
A bar is a place that you really can like grow family. And we host benefits, I don't know, like every other month. And people are going to go in, they're going to drink a lot, they're going to spend a lot of money.
They're going to bid on stuff. They're going to do the auction. They're going to donate. They're absolutely going to do that. I mean, a lot of people are involved with the community, and like when Cowboy passed away,
That was actually, that was massive.
Yes. Yes. He was very loved in our community.
And that's it. Like not only do you meet people that you probably don't want to be friends with, but I know personally, I've met so many people that, I mean, you, for example,
Yes.
although you weren't a customer, you came in working at our bar and we've been pretty much best friends since.
Yeah. And it's not even people that live here. I mean, we've met people from all over the world. Tiffany that came in from Australia.
We're actually, so we're going to go to
Yes.
Australia next year.
Yes.
I told
They're
Tommy,
awesome.
I told Tommy we were going to go and he's like, look, we just met her. Like
Yeah.
maybe we should like talk to her a little bit more because I'm ready to get on a plane.
You
Like
go.
I don't give a shit.
Yes.
But honestly, if we stay in contact next year, we'll go to Australia and visit her.
Yep.
So the friendships that you make along the way, the family, it's all very meaningful for
Yes,
sure.
it is.
Hold it close to you.
Yep.
But one of the funny things that I remember seeing on the bartender groups is, I don't even know how to say it, the people that think that just because you ask for less ice, that you're going to get more alcohol. Like, should we do a demonstration?
Oh my gosh. Yes, let's do one.
If we go to a bar, Tommy actually asked for like half ice. When he was drinking mixed drinks, he doesn't drink them anymore, but he would want half ice because he wants more of the mixer. Yeah, he doesn't want it to hit him quite as hard. Now me, I'm like, extra ice. Let me take a sip. Put some more ice. Like I want it strong as I can get it.
Ice.
But yeah. I don't know.
2 shots is 2 shots no matter how much ice you got, and 1 shot is 1 shot no matter how much ice you got.
Speaking of, I asked for 1 shot, but you as the bartender, I'm pretty sure this is not 1 shot.
Probably 2.
And I have some more things to do after this. So, is there anything else that comes to your mind, like from that page that you follow? I touch on it a little bit, and
the women. I seen a girl that had posted a credit card slip, where somebody signed it, and the girl wrote on there, "Do not call my husband babe." I call everybody babe in the bar.
Baby, honey.
Hey, babe, what you need? What you need, babe? You need a beer? You need a beer, babe? Here's your change. I call everybody babe.
It's natural. We're from the South. It's just what we do.
It's a Southern thing. It's what we do. And if you get offended by that, well, then I don't know what to tell you because that's just the way we talk down here.
Okay. The little the tip actually brought this to my attention. I always say it whenever you go to a restaurant. If you can't afford to tip, don't go out to eat. Do you understand how mad it makes me whenever people will have like a $200-$300 bill and you've had me running around this bar for hours through the night, and you can't even leave a single dollar on there?
Yep.
And I mean, I know sometimes they're drunk and they don't think to do it, but that and like walking out on tabs.
I know.
Don't be that person.
Oh, another thing I like to talk about is the 21-year-olds. I get mad when you ask them for an ID.
Shit, I get happy when they ask for my ID. I'm like, all right, I'm still looking good.
People don't understand no matter how old you are. I don't care if you're 85 years old. To be in a bar, you have to have an ID. If ATC walks in there and IDs everybody that's in there and they don't have one, you're in trouble. So when I ask them for their ID and they're freshly 21 years old, I'm like, oh, well, you didn't think you needed an ID? You just turned 21.
Right.
I mean, I'm 36 and they still ask for my ID.
What's your opinion on having babies in a bar?
I don't... Babies?
Like babies.
I don't think that should be in a bar.
Yeah.
I mean, you got people that are drinking and alcohol.
You just never know what's going to pop off.
Always mix well. We've had great nights where there's nothing and then all of a sudden they got to fight, And I think another thing that I've learned is to read people's energy anywhere I go.
That's a big one.
Me and my husband actually went to Warsaw one night. And
you have to pay attention to your surroundings, and I'm not really good at that.
And I told him, I said, this energy in here just doesn't feel right. We need to leave. Like, I just don't feel right. So we left. Well, that night a fight broke out. And I told him, I said, I don't know. I guess it's just from paying attention to people in the bar and watching people to make sure they're not, trying to rob us or whatever. I've learned to read energy from that.
Have you ever been in a bar fight?
I have not.
Just throwing ashtrays at people?
Yep, I'm not getting in the middle of 2 grown men fighting. I'm not doing that.
See, that's my issue is I feel like I'm a fixer. I can fix everything. So every single time a fight breaks out in the bar, I'm like, Tommy, you stay over there. I've got this handled. So I'm going over there and I'm like, baby, come on. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Just get up. You're going to love him tomorrow. Yeah. And I'm going to end up getting my ass hit one day.
Yeah. I'm not getting them. And if it's 2 women, I probably would. But 2 men, I'm not getting them.
See, I don't think I'd break up the women. They scare me. They'll pull my hair and girls don't know how to fight.
Shit, punch them.
Meaning me. Like, I don't know how to fight. I can calm someone down in a heartbeat.
I think you could handle your own if you ever had to. I really do.
He says that all the time, that, like, whenever I get angry, it's like I literally see black or see red or whatever. Yes. If I got mad enough, I could probably handle my own. But I typically don't get that angry.
Well, nobody's probably ever pushed you to that point.
Yeah. Except for that one person, that one customer.
Yeah, I know.
He pushes everybody's buttons.
Everybody's.
I hope he's not listening because he's going to know that we're talking about him. He's definitely going to know.
I think I'm blocked on Facebook anyway.
Go figure. So in the beginning, we were talking about how most of the time people start out bartending in their college days. And you may not be locked into a relationship at that point, but like you said, you have bartended pretty much your whole life and your family has bartended. Your situation is a little different than mine, and obviously we'll touch on that. But how do you feel that bartending affects like your home life or your relationship with your husband? Has there ever been an issue?
Really. I met my husband while I was bartending, actually. So he knew what I did before we got together. I did stop for a little while when we first got together, only because I left the bar I was working at. And when I started bartending again, he got a little sideways about it. And I just told him, you're not going to control me. And if you don't trust me, then we don't need to be together. This is a job.
That is a big one. Trust is big for this.
This is what I like to do, and this is my job. So I think now he's good with it. I mean, he used to come with me to work, at Warsaw. He would come with me on, whatever night I worked if he wasn't working. But now he just
lets you go and do your thing.
Yeah. And I only work 2 days a week now, but...
how cool is that, though? You literally work 2 days a week, and you make enough money to survive for the week or two,
Yeah.
My situation's a little different because... obviously, Tommy's mom owns the bar, so in the beginning when it was just me bartending, he would come sit up there and he would hang out with me, and it wasn't like a jealousy thing. It's not like he had to be there.
No, it's like a security thing. You have somebody there that you trust and you love that is actually watching out for you.
Right. So that helped, but then we actually, we can talk about this a little bit. Forgot about this. The reason Tommy's even a bartender.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, it's not like it was completely my fault because, like I said, my best friend Stafford had passed away, and I was really going through it, and a friend of ours brought us out on his boat, and we were just supposed to go have a drink before my shift, and that was it. Well, I let my emotions get the best of me, and I drank until I was absolutely drunk. I could not be behind that bar. I was crying my eyes out. Every time a customer asked for a drink, they'd be like, I want a Tito's and blah, blah, blah. And I'd be like, I can't do it for you. Crying. So I go out there because obviously Tommy's going to fix everything. And that is how he was thrown into the fire. He became a bartender that night because
he had to get behind the bar.
Yeah, he had to work it.
Yeah.
But now we bartend together every Monday night, and just that one night, aside from the little stuff that we do at the bar now, we travel so much, so it's hard for us to manage like we used to. But that one night that we work, it pays for the week. And it's kind of cool to be able to bartend with your husband.
Yeah.
It's people love it. Oh, it's Thomas and Lucy up there.
Yeah, it's like a duo.
Yeah, and it actually helps with him being in the music, the music spotlight, because we get a ton of customers that actually are coming to our bar as new customers just to see what he does in his off time.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so it's all really cool. Okay, so having my husband there bartending with me, that gives us a chance to have fun with it and create things. So there's 2 drinks that I actually want 3 that I want to talk about. We had a competition at one point it was a shot special, and mine was called the Thirst Trap and his was called Blue Balls. Well, he won, and everyone ordered Blue Balls nonstop.
Blue Balls.
I know. So in case y'all want to know, it's Svedka, strawberry, cherry limeade, okay,
and coconut berry Red Bull.
Yeah, that was his, and then I used the same alcohol in mine, but I think it was Sprite and pink lemonade, and obviously no one wanted mine. Everybody wanted Blue Balls. So that was one of the fun ones, but we were also getting creative one night, and one of the nights that we were slow, this is so gross, y'all. It really is. But I sold a lot of them for a while. It was a shot, and it was called Come in a Hot Tub. So I think, I don't remember the base alcohol that it was. Might have been vodka. And then you take a cream, Kahlua or something, and you just drizzle it in there slowly. And God, that's so gross. Golly. Some of those customers we were talking about earlier might know a little bit about that.
Yeah, and it's kind of the ones that come in and want a wet pussy shot, and they don't want to say it. They're like,
I won't.
A wet cat? And I'm like, a what? I won't know say what that is.
I absolutely won't. But certain bartenders, if you go in and will not say the word, they won't give it to you. Yeah, they make you say it. That's so uncomfortable. The P word is so nasty. It's so gross.
That's what they named it.
So there aside from the gross little things that we were just saying, there's so many drinks that are out there.
And there's so many different ways to make them.
Yeah, thank God at our bar, we just have the basic Crown and Coke or, simple stuff like that. But if someone comes in and they're like, I want a Sex on the Beach or, did you know that for the longest time, I had no idea that a Long Island iced tea was not tea?
Really?
I was a bartender for 2 years before I realized that there was no tea in a Long Island.
No tea?
Yeah, I was like, I can't make that. I'm sorry. We don't carry tea in here. And then they would just look at me like I had 6 heads. So I finally just I decided to Google it and realize that it's every alcohol that you have in the bar.
Yep. Clear.
Plus sweet and sour and Coke, right? And it just looks like tea.
I put a little splash of simple syrup in mine too, just to make it a little sweeter.
What's your favorite drink?
My favorite drink, shot or drink was?
Both. Let's do shot first.
Shots, tequila. Yes. Drink, I'm not a big drinker. Never have been, really.
I could always convince you to have some shots with me behind the bar.
Always did.
You did the blue balls a lot.
Yeah, and got me drunk on Rumplemans a couple times, you and Nick. But my favorite drink to drink is not even a mixed drink. I like wine.
I can't drink wine.
Why?
I cry.
Oh,
I just cry and cry. Yes, like the wind could blow and I'm going to cry. And I'm already a titty baby. So we just decided that wine isn't it for me. Let's see. We can go through the alcohols that I can't do because we recently figured it all out. Crown, I will fight.
Yeah.
I will literally fight this table if I drink Crown.
I can't do Crown either.
Tommy can't do Crown because he already has like a very short tolerance for bullshit and stupid people.
Yes.
And his tolerance is like completely gone when he drinks Crown. So I don't know how I am on rum, but at this point, I don't know that I'm willing to risk it.
Yeah.
Vodka is one that
I can't do that either.
I used to drink vodka all the time, but like we would go home and I would just be picking fights over everything. So we decided that wasn't going to be it for me. I moved over to tequila, which I would drink beer all day if I could, but celiac, I can't have it. That's what we were saying the other day is beer like gives you this like even buzz all through the night. You don't get crazy or wild or anything, but I can't drink it. So tequila is my go-to. And I was trying to not, I guess, black out so much when I drink. You would never know that I'm blackout, but in my mind, like I just, whatever. So I was like, I'm going to start trying to drink the little seltzers. Well, I started drinking High Noons and lo and behold, as a bartender, I should have known it has vodka in it. Yeah. So it was like twice in the last week, I was picking fights with him at shows, doing the jealousy thing that I said that I wasn't going to do anymore. Like there were 3 girls just standing in front of the stage having a good time. They were like wearing sweaters. They were not promiscuous at all. They were doing a limbo,
Yeah.
And I got mad at him and I was like, well, why don't you go talk to those girls? Yeah.
It would damn well if he did.
Yeah. So anyway, we can't do vodka anymore. So we are being very serious moving forward. I will do single tequila and water.
Yeah.
And if you catch me doing anything else, just take it from me. I don't know what to tell you.
Okay.
I'm not allowed to do anything else.
Well, I can't drink vodka because me and Junebug went somewhere one night and I drank some vodka and the place we were at's very small and it gets very smoky in there. Well, I got really hot. I don't know. The circulation's not good. So we walked out of the bar. I told him, I said, look, we have to go. Like, I can't do it anymore. So we walk out the bar and I sat in a chair when we walked out, and I said, I can't go anymore. And he said, well, come on, I got to get you in the Jeep. And I said, I just can't go. So I got up, and I started walking. The last thing I remember is I laid my head down on a truck, and I woke up in the parking lot. Done threw up, hit my head on a truck.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, vodka. I can't do vodka.
All right, so I know there's a million stories that we could sit here and tell about things that you should and shouldn't do in a bar.
Exactly.
But I think we pretty much covered the basis. Don't bring your girlfriend in there. Be nice to your bartender because,
we know all the secrets.
Exactly. Don't piss me off when I'm having a bad day. So I guess that's it. Thank you for coming in. I know it was really last minute, but this was kind of cool to like reminisce on our bartending past together.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
For sure. Well, if y'all enjoyed it, you can give me a follow on all the social media, The Juice with Lucy. And if you did not like it, not my problem.
What's wrong with a little bit of crazy, a little bit